wasabi, how you be? My name is Amber. If you don't know me, which you probably don't, I make TikTok videos. We're at 360,000 followers. Please join the family and help me get to 1 million followers and subscribe for more YouTube videos. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story about how at the ripe age of 17, I decided to go to LA by myself and try the infamous methamphetamine. So I was going through a lot of shit, and this girl I knew named, let's call her Anna, she hit me up and she's like, oh, I just moved to LA, you should come visit me sometime. So I was like, okay, this sounds pretty cool.
If only I knew.
I actually met her through this teen filming. Okay, I'm so sorry. I talk with my hands like a fucking crazy person. I'm not even Italian. Okay. I actually met her through a teen film program, and everyone there had like a really good head on their shoulders. So I thought, you know what, even though I don't really know her, this should be really cool and fun, right? She said she worked at a super cool underground gambling spot, and I'm thinking like, oh damn, she's making bank. This is probably like a dope ass casino only for the elites, only for the famous, you know, and I'm getting the invite. It's about to be lit. So I'm hyped. So I buy my plane ticket and I'm off to LA for 2 weeks. I shit you not, I have the largest luggage of all time, like no joke. It took 5 men to get the luggage off the pickup area, you know, like where it goes like in the circles and shit. Yeah, it took 5 men to help me because my dumb ass couldn't lift it. And let me say, those men were sexy as fuck, so I was living. This was great, you know what I'm saying? So I meet her at the location. I'm like, all right, cool, we're going to this casino. I end up in front of an abandoned building with graffiti all over it, and not the nice kind, not the Brooklyn, New York vibes. It's, you know, like this was a shithole. I was like, oh, this kind of underground. I should have expected this with my life, with my luck, of course. But you know, sometimes I got my hopes up, you know what I'm saying? So I go inside and I see pimps over here, prostitutes over here. We got nothing against sex workers, by the way. You should subscribe to my OnlyFans if you're 18 plus. But just drug dealers over here, crackheads over there, every like criminal. Crackheads and criminals, but you know what I mean? Like, it was not elite, you know what I'm saying? It was another kind of elite. And I'm in there and I'm frightened. Why am I frightened? I'm thinking, oh, this is it. I got caught. She recruited me and I'm gonna forever work in sex trafficking. This is it. My life is over, that's it. Luckily, that didn't happen. So I ended up meeting her boss, and he was like this Middle Eastern man. The whole place seemed to be run by Middle Eastern heritage. It definitely had mob vibes, you know what I mean? But let me tell you, this man was beyond, I burped, sus. He was beyond sus, okay? He clearly wanted to fuck not only me, but Anna too. Like, we are 17, sweetie. Like, you are a 34 to 45-year-old man, that age range, you know what I'm saying? And so did his brothers, you know, the other men that worked with him. Like, they were all, like, weird and creepy towards us. I felt mad uncomfortable. Oh, my God. That's not disrespectful. Shut up. Is my windows closed? My windows are closed. My windows are closed. Dead ass, this is gonna be a thing. Let me tell you. So let me tell you, in my story times, my videos, my YouTube videos, my lives, you're gonna be hearing this fucking ice cream truck, because this ice cream truck will not leave me alone. He'd be coming here every single day and just playing loud, his alarm, whatever that is, that song. It's so loud. It's so loud. It's so loud for no reason. It's so loud. Okay. Anyways. What the fuck? It was literally mad uncomfortable for me because I'm a 17-year-old girl who just flew out of state by myself to a girl's house that I barely even know. And now I'm in an abandoned illegal gambling ring surrounded by 35 to 45-year-old men. And this is only day 1. So Anna's boss thought it would be a great idea if we all went to the strip club afterwards. And my naive ass thought, okay, why not? Let's go. If you're wondering how I got in, we have fake IDs. So Anna's having a good time. She's giving lap dances and all this shit with her boss's boys and whatever. And I'm just like not having a good feeling about it. Not because like, oh, why is she dancing on guys or whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, dance on whoever the fuck you want to. It's just that we are 17 and these guys are 35 to 45-year-old men. Like, That's sus. They're sus. Like, that's not okay. That's weird. That's sus. And also, they were super misogynistic. Like, I did not like their energy. So anyways, I'm just chilling, and her boss offers to pay a woman $40 to give me like one of these lap dances, because I never even been to a strip club. I never gotten a lap dance, but I thought she looked so cool. She had like the Harley Quinn vibe. She had like these crazy pigtails. She just looked super dope. So I was like, yeah, totally, it's lit. You know what I'm saying? Having a little fun time. So I got the lap dance, and that was cool and all. But then he started getting weird with me. Him and his boy that Anna was with, they were like, you should get naked, start dancing, go dance. What are you doing? Like, you need to dance. Like, what the fuck? Like, being mad hostile, mad aggressive, and I was just not with it. And when I would say no, I'm just like, no. They're like, ugh, you're so scared, you little child. Ugh. Like, what the fuck? So that really upset me, and I ended up like crying in the bathroom because I was so pissed off. But then I got my shit together, and I went back out and was chilling again. Next thing you know, Anna finally was like, okay, let's go, but here's the thing, I'm gonna go home with my boy, and my boss is gonna take you home, okay? And I was like, what, bitch, you're gonna leave me alone with this guy after like him making me mad uncomfortable? But I didn't say anything because I didn't want to, like, you know, I didn't want to get her in her way or whatever. She was going through like a breakup, and I didn't want to, you know, fuck that up for her. So I was like, all right, whatever. I took the risk of possibly getting kidnapped by this man. So I'm in the car, and in the car, it was pretty funny. He was like trying to talk about sex the whole time. So I pointed at the cemetery, and I was like, oh my God, I never slept with someone at a cemetery before. And he's like, oh, let's go. And I'm just like, I'm not with you though. Like, I straight up shut him down. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck you. This guy's so creepy and weird. And then he was just like mad the whole time. Like, but I don't give a fuck. And then he finally dropped me home, and I was lit. Sorry, I'm gonna be playing with my hair the whole time because I get anxiety and like, whatever. I'm finally home, and I'm like, okay, cool. And she lives with her ex. I forgot to mention that. She lives with her ex. Whatever. He opens the door for me, and I got a whoof. I got a whoof of fumes going through my nostrils. And let me tell you, that was the most disgusting smell I have ever smelled in my life. Yo, it smelled like multiple dead bodies decomposing after like 6 weeks. Like, that shit was mad disgusting. I'm not even joking with you. It's so fucking nasty. It was hell. Hell. So I say 4 big ass dogs cramped in a tiny fucking cage, okay? In the corner of this living room. I look at the living room floor. The floor covered in shit and piss. It's not funny. I'm just stressed even thinking about it. It was so awful. I'm not exaggerating. I swear on my life, I'm not exaggerating. I had to play hopscotch to get to my room. I'm not lying. It was so disgusting. It was horrifying. So I spent an entire day cleaning this fucking apartment when they went out for work or whatever the next day. And I had to use 6 bounties. 6, not pieces, 6 rolls of bounty to clean up this floor. And guess what? That didn't even do much. Because at one point, I'm wiping the piss, and there's like mush coming out. And I'm like, what the fuck is this mush? It's the floorboard. The floorboard, it was marinating into the floor. The floorboard was ripping off because of the piss marinating in the floor. I was 2 minutes away from calling ASPCA, but the reason why I didn't was because these dogs were generally really happy, and they were only in this cage when they were at work, and they said that it was only temporary, and they really don't give me like animal abuse vibe energy. Really, it just seemed like I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before, but now Anna seems to be doing really good, so I think, I think they're okay. So just letting you guys know, I think they're fine. So because of these fumes, I literally thought my lungs were gonna collapse, so I ended up getting a new hotel. I was like not with it. I was like, okay, I'm out. However, the last day before I decided to leave this shithole, literal shithole, which was day 4, I went with Anna to her job, and I ended up meeting one of her coworkers named Marisol. So Marisol just turned 32. It was her birthday, and she was asking me like, oh, like, you should come out with me since Anna's gonna be working all day. Let's go party. And I was like, okay, shit, why not? She seemed mad cool, so I said yes. So we go to her hotel, and turns out she's from Texas, dating one of the biggest drug lords in the nation. So she's telling me, like, if anyone wants to buy kilos, let her know. And I'm just like, oh, what if, like, you know, what if I want to sell, like, dimes or dubs? And I also don't exactly know what kind of drugs. I just assumed it was, like, cocaine or something. Or weed, because we were talking about weed. I remember that. She was like, nope, only kilos. Like, if you... And I'm just like, who the fuck am I going to know that wants a kilo? I sound mad Spanish. Because, first of all, everyone I know is broke. And I don't know anybody who wants to buy a fucking kilo. She also told me that her brother actually snitched on her mans. And her mans wanted to know where her brother was at. He's like, where is he? And she's like, I can't give him up because that's my blood. And he's like, well, you know what I have to do. And she's like, I know. And then she got jumped by him and like 4 other men. And when I say jumped, I mean like she was bloody, like concussed, like in the hospital for a week. Like she showed me photos. Like she looked fucked up. So I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, you're not with him anymore, are you? And she's like, oh, nah, you know, it is. That's the business. He had to do what he had to do. He needs to see my brother, and, you know, I'm not going to give him my blood. So I completely understood that he had to do that to me, you know, and he understood why I didn't give up my brother. And I'm just like, what the fuck kind of business is this? But she loved him, and she's happy, so okay. So we decided to smoke. So we're smoking, pre-gaming and all this shit. And then next thing you know, she's like, oh, do you want to try some Adderall? So I was really nervous because at the time I had a really bad experience with weed to the point where it took me like a few years to, you know, overcome this anxiety that I would have when smoking weed. I had like depersonalization and all that stuff. If you want to know about it, I'll put it in the link below. I made a video about it way back. But yeah, so I was like really cautious about taking any drugs, and I've never taken anything besides weed and alcohol. So I hit up my sister and she's like, oh, you should try it, you're gonna love it, it's so good, you know, because it's a stimulant. She's like, oh, it helps me focus for school, all the college kids use it or whatever. And I'm like, okay, it can't be that bad because my sister tried it, right? So I'm like, cool. I did my research, I saw photos of it, what it does, all that stuff. So she gives me a crystal, a blue crystal, you know, Breaking Bad shit, you know, yeah. And I already saw a photo of Adderall, so I'm like, oh, it's probably a different form. Same thing, right? Which a lot of people do say, but it's not true. Crystal meth and Adderall are not the same shit. Maybe the similar effects, but they're not the same shit. So don't play with me with that game. Nope. But my dumbass, my naive dumbass is like, oh, it's probably Adderall just like in a different shape. They probably have like pills and also like crystals or whatever. So I eat it. Yup, I gobbled that shit up. And then next thing you know, I'm in the car and I'm thinking this is Adderall. We go to see Anna to pick something up. And Anna looks at me and she's like, did you take something? And I'm like, Adderall. And she's like, uh-huh. Because my pupils were like, pfft. And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh, whatever. Like, why does she seem so concerned? It's just like, Adderall, So then we're on the way to the bar. And finally, Marisol's like, oh, so when we took the crystal meth, I was like, what? What? Bitch, what? I like had a whole panic attack. I started cursing her the fuck out. I was like, bitch, what? You gave me what? Crystal what? And she's like, oh, it's the same shit. It's the same shit as Adderall. And I'm like, you do not give me no fucking drug without telling me exactly what it is. Like, I told you my anxiety and shit. I told you I'm not good with drugs. Like, you gotta tell me. And now it's way too fucking late. And I'm already fucking hype as fuck. I'm like, so not only am I high as fuck off weed, high as fuck off crystal meth, but I'm also drinking like a fucking barbarian. So we ended up meeting a few people from New York and they were really cool. And then we ended up meeting some director who's like rich or whatever, but I don't even remember his name if I'm being honest. But towards the end of the night, he's like, oh, we should go to my house so we can have an after party. And we were all like, yeah, let's do it. So we went to the director's house and next thing you know, I see Marisol grabbing a big ass plate and putting it in the middle of the fucking kitchen and putting up lines of crystal meth. That shit looked just like Coke, but it was lines of crystal meth. So one of the girls from New York, she took 2 lines and she thought it was cocaine. 2 fat lines. These lines were fat, okay? Like she was about to trip. And her friends ended up walking up to me and they found out that it wasn't Coke before the girl who actually took it. And they were like, yo, please don't tell her that it's crystal meth. Tell her that it's Coke so she doesn't freak the fuck out. And I was like, okay, no problem. Let me tell you, when I saw this girl, her eyes looked like the lens right here. It was black. It was black. There was no iris, nothing. It was just pupil. And it was actually terrifying. That I was actually scared. She was acting like a robot. She was like, hi, how are you? I was like, oh, nah, son. Nah. That shit was scary. But, you know, she's good. Hopefully. I don't know. I don't remember seeing them after that. But, yeah. God bless. So next thing you know, I see the director cooking and I'm like, oh shit, what are you making? Ha ha ha. I stand right next to him, next to the stove. And then all I see is like a little spoon with some liquid over the stove. He cooking the crystal meth. He about to shoot up crystal meth. So he looked at me, he's like, oh, do you want some? And I'm like, oh, no thank you, I'm okay. Like, you know, playing it cool, being polite, like, all right. And I'm like, bitch, your ass is so innocent. You barely smoke weed, you barely drink, and here you are with people shooting up crystal meth, snorting up crystal meth. Like, what is happening over here? I just walk away and I'm crashing because obviously I didn't take any more crystal meth. So you end up crashing and I knocked out for like 6 hours. I wake up to this man literally naked, not butt naked, like that would have been funny, but it's horrifying at the same time. But no, he was wearing boxers and he was running around like Roadrunner in the fucking house, like, and this is like, it's like 7 a.m. now. It's like, what the fuck? Like, son, relax. And even Marisol was like, bro, you're gonna overdose. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're taking too much. And listen, if a drug lord is literally telling you, bitch, you taking too much about an overdose, then bitch, you about to overdose. Like, I would be scared as fuck if I were him. So she ended up grabbing me and she's like, let's get the fuck out of here. This guy's whacked as fuck. He's a wacko jacko. He was friendly though, but like, yeah, whacked out. So we ended up leaving. She takes me to an acai bowl place so I can eat. And bitch, I could not see. Everything was like wavy. Like, it's not a hallucinogen, but I don't know. Everything was fucking wavy. I felt like shit, utter shit. I've never felt like shit so much in my life. I couldn't even read the menu. It took me 15 minutes to read this menu to the point where the freaking people behind the counter were like, oh, are you good? And I'm like, no, just get me anything. And then I slept for 12 hours. We both slept for 12 hours at her motel. But anyways, the come down is the worst come down you can ever experience. I swear on my life, drugs are not worth it. Don't do it. Don't even try it. Get the fuck out of there. Don't be a dumbass like me, okay? But it doesn't end there. We decide to go out and party again. But before that, we had to meet up with Anna and her bosses. And on the way there, Marisol's like, oh, I think these people are part of FBI. They're doing undercover work. They're trying to get me. But I don't think so. I think they're actually like an illegal underground gambling place. Like, it seemed really sus, but at the same time, I don't know what's going on in her head, you know? But she was so convinced that these guys were FBI to the point where she refused to park in front of the place. She was like harassing them on the phone. I didn't hear that conversation, but she was like harassing them on the phone or whatever, or trying to argue with them. She was saying that, oh, they only like Anna because they're fucking her or whatever. I don't know if that's true, guys, okay? And all this crazy shit she was saying. So now because she's bugging out on these guys, they're suspicious of her because they have an illegal business to run and they can't deal with people who are gonna bug out and act crazy and possibly get their business caught. So now they find her sus. She's saying, oh, they're gonna fire me, they're gonna fire me. And you know, they did. They ended up firing her. We ended up parking by a gas station near the location and they met us and asked for the work keys. They like basically kicked her out for being mad paranoid for no reason. And I started thinking maybe she is paranoid because literally we're in front of a gas station and this homeless guy comes out of the gas station, you know, hitting on us or whatever. Our windows were down. And he's like, oh, you guys are so beautiful. And she's like, he a cop. He a cop. And like literally like... I love her to death, but oh my gosh, she was acting crazy. I'm like, this is a homeless man. He ain't no cop, but what if he was? You know, I don't know shit, right? But don't worry, it gets worse. We finally go out to party. I don't remember the party at all, but I do remember leaving. So when we were leaving, she was with this random guy. I don't remember why, but she told him to go with her to pick up her car and I was gonna wait on the corner for them to grab me. So I'm waiting on the corner of West Hollywood, literal gay central, and I see this guy. He's like from Ireland. He's wearing literally a leprechaun outfit. He looked so cute. I love him. He was so sweet and adorable. And this weird random guy walks by him and is like calling him the F word, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? And being like, you're gay, get out of here, go back to Ireland, you suck, for no reason. I tell you, for no reason. This man did not do anything to this guy, and there's mad people walking by saying nothing. And I was tight. You know, I'm 17. I'd never been in a fight at this point, but I was drunk as fuck, so the New York bitch came out in me, honestly. And I got up in his face. I was like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to, boy? You in West Hollywood. You don't talk to my boy like that. Like, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck do you think you are, son? Like, I would dead ass spit on your face, you know? Did I say those exact words? Like, I don't know. But, like, I know I was in his face and I was loud. Like, I was screaming. Right now, I'm, like, not screaming because, you know, I got people in the house or whatever. But I was screaming and I didn't give a fuck. And all I remember is him going, like, oh, you crazy, yeah. And then, like, walked away. And then the little leprechaun, he was like... The little leper, I'm so sorry. The little Irish man, he was like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the help. And I was like, oh, you're welcome. And then next thing you know, my friend pulls up and I was like, okay, cool, bye. And then I leave, I go inside my friend's car and we're about to drop off this guy because he's still in the car in the passenger seat. So we drop him off at this spot and he immediately like vanishes. Like, I don't know, he like vanished into the woods or some shit because it was dark. And she notices that her phone's missing. And instead of thinking, oh, we just got robbed by some asshole, she thought, oh, this motherfucker's the FBI. He took my phone. That's it. I'm done. She starts driving like a crazy ass bitch in fucking West Hollywood. Like, this is like a busy ass place. Like, I was scared. So she's driving. She's trying to find this man. I'm like, we're not gonna find this man. You know what I'm saying? And she's screaming. She's like, he's FBI. Yo, if my man finds out, he's gonna kill me. And I'm like, I'm like, and you know, like, she don't mean like he's gonna, like, you know, kill me, like, oh, he's gonna yell at me. Like, she means he's gonna, like, blah, like, kill her. She's like, yo, I'm gonna get killed for this. This is not okay. If my man finds out about this, I'm gonna get killed. He's gonna get me killed. It's done. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, holy shit, we need to find her phone. But I'm thinking like maybe she's over exaggerating. I'm like telling her, I'm like, oh, just get a new phone, you know, they'll cut off the line. And I feel really bad because there's really nothing that I could have done for her. Like, I couldn't do anything at this point. So finally, after like an hour and a half of driving around trying to find this guy, she decides to finally drive me home. So before I left the car, she looked at me and she was like, yo, listen, like, this is really serious. I gotta find my phone. If my man finds out about this, he'll kill me. And I'll contact you soon, okay? I never saw her again. Never heard from her. Don't know anything. I had her Snapchat. Never got a hit up from Snap, you know, because if you get a new phone, you can download Snapchat and you don't hit someone up. Never heard from her again. So weird, so sus. Wishing her the best, hoping she's alive. Love you, Marisol. Like, if you watching this, Marisol, like, hit me up. What the fuck? Like, I always think about her here and there, you know. So I don't know. I'm worried about her, but like, you know, like, let me know what's up. You know? But yeah, that's the story. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know if you want to hear more story times. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see from me. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and check out my OnlyFans. Top 1.7%. It fluctuates, but I always say 1.7, whatever. I was 1, then 2, whatever. Fuck you. So subscribe to that if you're 18 and plus. So yeah, thank you guys so much for everything. Yes, K-Agman out.